gotta go. I'll get my car. What time? Yours. I gotta get me one of those.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bat Dan's Discussions. So, a lot more is happening right now. We got Pam Abdy and Mike DeLuca, the chairs of Warner Brothers Pictures, extend their contracts extended, and no word on Gunny Poo. So, I have a lot of thoughts on that. So, joining me today to discuss is none other than TheCurlyRay. How are you, man? You're on mute.
Can y'all hear me say what's up now?
Yep, can hear you say that now.
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? How are y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm really pumped to talk about this. So much to talk about. So it's funny, like, so ever since this Netflix sale, or this Warner Brothers sale, I should say, it's not necessarily Netflix buying it, but we'll see. There's just so much stuff that's been happening lately. So much interesting stuff in here. I want to show off my Batflix shirt a little bit more, but ready to talk about this. Ready to talk and discuss.
Yo, definitely. This is gonna be a very interesting stream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And before we get started, of course, I have to, again, shout out the One Punch Stand cinematic universe. We got One Punch Stand by Zod Rider coming out in 2026. Again, really excited about it. Check it out when it comes out. It's going to be a great movie. I'm a little biased, I will admit, because I am One Punch Stan, but still, I think it's going to be a phenomenal movie, and Zod Rider's been putting a lot of work into this, and it's a big love letter to our community. So definitely check it out when it comes out. It's gonna be a great film.
Shout out to Zod Rider.
Shout out to Zod Rider.
Kneel before Zod. Also, shout out to Bishop too. I love it when he does that on his videos.
Oh yeah, I love Bishop. Great guy, great supporter. And now, let's get started. So, I'm going to start with this because Superman lost money. Theatrical wise, thank you, Jamar. Theatrical speaking, it lost money. Let me just share my screen real quick. So, which one is that? Here we are. So, Superman ends its theatrical run. How much did it make? So let's see where we are. So So I can't talk today. Superman's worldwide gross box office ended at $615,784,465. That is where it ended. And let's go over the actual budget. Where was that again? Okay, so this is really important here. So sorry, I saw the. Okay, so given that.
Wait, is that?
Okay,
Wait,
here
go
we
back.
are.
Is that it right there? Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to start with. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties. So basically, had a production budget of $225 million plus a worldwide marketing budget of $125 million. So let's do a little math here. So we got 225 plus 125 equals 350. Again, plugging this in the calculator, even though I could do some of this in my head to just show people, nope, this is the math that's coming from the calculator. So, given that films generally split their ticket sales 50-50 with theater owners, this means Superman's theatrical net equates to $308 million. The amount, of course, does not reflect any residuals that are being paid out or other miscellaneous expenses associated with the film. But let's just go with $308 million. So even going with the $308 million, it falls below $350 million. So let's do some more math. So 350 minus 308 equals 42. 42 million. Superman lost $402 million. Or $42 million. My God, I can't talk today. So let's start with you, TheCurlyRay. What's your thoughts on this?
Yo. You guys claimed, or the outlets claimed that this Superman movie made the first trailer had like over 2 million views, which we know those numbers are fake. Let's just say if they were legit, this movie should have made probably at least over $1 billion.
Yeah,
And
Superman, the second most recognizable symbol on the planet.
Yep. And with all these people, even with these accounts that rarely talk about comic book films, all of a sudden post the first trailer of the Superman movie. I mean, the marketing was everywhere for this. I mean, this was in Fortnite. This was in Minecraft. They had this promoted on Food Network. They had it everywhere. This movie should have at least made over $1 billion.
Yes.
But it didn't.
No. And here's the biggest reason why this film needed to do well. When Henry Cavill announced he was back as Superman, there was so much hype for DC. People were excited. People were out the moon, or I don't even know that expression. Probably not using that expression right, but people were really excited for a Superman, for Henry Cavill's Superman to be back. And then once James Gunn announced the reboot and said that, we're not using Henry Cavill, sorry guys, and Henry Cavill had to make that public announcement retracting his statement, you have to justify that. Losing all that hype, losing all that excitement, you have to justify that. So that's why, to me, this film needed to do really well. Because to say no to that hype, you better have something that's 10 times better to me. Like, this better be the best Superman film in the world if you're putting Henry Cavill through all that, putting the fans through all that. This better be the best thing ever. And it wasn't. That's the fact of the matter. This film lost money. Sure, maybe it will make some profit on video on demand and stuff. Maybe. But when you release a film in theaters, it has to make its money in the theaters. That's what the shareholders want. Because I mean, if you release another film in theaters, it'll probably make money on video on demand. So why you don't release a movie in theaters because you're relying on video on demand to make profit? That's no. This film failed. At the end of the day, this film did not do the expectations that Gunny Poo claimed, and it lost money. That's just the reality of the situation. And I don't care what shoeless shill, I'm going to say this again, shoeless shill tries to say about that, trying to discredit the article, but this is just basic math here that they're doing. Basic math that all these other trades decided not to do. So.
And something else I do want to bring up, I don't even think this movie is going to do well on demand. Or not only that, the freaking merchandise, the toys, they're all full on the shelves at all Walmarts and Targets. Because I've been to too many Walmarts and too many Targets. And, well, technically one, because I've only been to like one recently, the one that's near me. But every single Walmart I've been to, the shelves have been full. The Target I've been to, the one I usually go to, all full. Like the T-shirt racks, the little shelves where they sell the T-shirts. The one that all the shills were wearing, like they literally weren't wearing any different shirt. They weren't all the same one. That thing was on the shelf. Like every time I went in there, every single time I went in there, the shelf was full. Jurassic World was selling shirts. Because one time I went in there was only 2 left. And the other sack was just all full. And then, a certain article was written about the fact that I was literally showing everyone that these shirts weren't selling. It's something else. It's something else. And I think it's because they knew that this movie was probably going to lose money and was probably going to fail. And yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is, this was the big start to the DCU, right? Now, I mean, I know Creature Commanders was an appetizer, as Gunny Poo said, but like this was the start to the general audience to the DCU, and it didn't make money. And I've always said they're trying to say, "Oh, it's just to get hype for the DC. It's just to get hype for the DC brand." Okay, if there's so much hype, why isn't the merchandise selling out then? I mean, if there's hype, shouldn't the merchandise sell out?
Yo, the Rebel Moon merchandise was selling, but why ain't the Superman stuff? And Rebel Moon is a brand new IP.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point. It's just, I'm just tired of the excuses for this film. Like, because all these people, they were betting the farm that this movie was going to succeed, and it didn't. And I'm just tired of hearing the excuses. I really am. The reality is this movie did not make money. When I was rooting for the Flash movie to succeed, but I didn't once act like, oh, it really succeeded because this. I mean, I know it's less money, but still, I didn't make excuses. It was just, I admit the film just didn't do well. I thought it would do well, and it didn't. I was wrong. It happens, people, okay? It happens. No one can predict box offices perfectly. I thought Black Adam would make $1 billion too. I was wrong. It happens. So maybe some of you guys can just admit that you were wrong. And I'm not talking about everyone here. I'm just talking about like the people who are acting very snotty about it, the influencers, the people who are still trying to die on this hill, the people who acted like they were a Snyder fan and got his subscriber base from the Snyder fandom and did a complete 180.
This comment right here. Shout out to J Mar.
Oh yeah, shout out to you, J Mar. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't get why that was a good idea for people, but no, that's because it was just funny because all these trades, it was like they were touting up domestic box office. It was always domestic box office did so well. Domestic box office did so well. Domestic box office. I'm sorry. I thought we were a planet. I didn't realize that only domestic mattered. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. This is like the first movie I've ever seen where people are cheering on for a domestic opening. Like, it's like, bro, where are y'all coming up this stuff from all of a sudden? Oh yeah, got beat by Demon Slayer for sure, and there's probably another anime movie that's probably going to be in the box office.
Oh yeah. And what up, Sean Franklin? Oh yeah. So at the end of the day, this movie did not do well. I mean, yep, F1, Demon Slayer, all these other films beat Superman because people knew we're not excited for this film. We were from the beginning. Once Cavill got fired, I'm like, okay, and yes, fired. Okay, not that, don't give me this whole he was never hired BS because he was hired. Okay, he was signed off by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers told him to make that announcement, so he was hired. But anyways, once that announcement came out, I knew, okay, this Superman film that Gunny Poo wants to do will not do well. And I was right. Because here's the other thing, TheCurlyRay. People keep saying, oh, well, the next film, now that people are hyped, they'll go see it. But what about this? What if people gave it a chance and now, after seeing it, we're not going to get more views, we're going to get less views for
Yeah, they're
Supergirl and
going to get
Clayface.
less money. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if those movies are even going to like. I feel like what's going to happen is, so I think once, don't want to get super off topic, but we're seeing that WBDs for sale, and I think there's look that they're going to get bought out in the spring, and I think what's going to happen is they're probably going to say, hey, we're going to delay these upcoming DC projects, and then some of them probably get canceled like Batgirl. That is what I think is going to happen to Supergirl and the rest of the DCU.
I think that's very possible. I do. I think that is very, especially if it doesn't end up. I think Supergirl's finished filming, so I don't know. Maybe who? So I don't know. I mean, maybe they will shelve it like Batgirl. I mean, I know that was a Zazoff thing who was doing that at first, but I mean, hey, if it doesn't represent the brand, then maybe you do want to get rid of it. So I know I won't be seeing it unless my dad makes me. But other than that, I probably will not see the rest of the DCU films. It failed, people, and hold on, give me a second here. Just make sure I close the right. I have all these articles open, so I just want to make sure I close the right article. But anyways, now Gunny Poo out the door. This is so. Let me just show this one real quick. Hold on, share my screen real quick. So, God, I'm so tired of these ads. You're trying to. No, I just don't want to see this ad. Okay.
There's a little
So,
gray X at the bottom left.
oh, here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll just leave this one. Okay. James Gunn out at DC with Warner Brothers sale. Exclusive. So, with Superman reportedly bombing financially, and with Peacemaker Season 2 flopping with fans, so this guy reached out to insiders about the state of the DCU under James Gunn. In short, James Gunn will be out as head of the DCU with the WBD sale. And if David Ellison of Skydance Paramount buys WBD, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy will be in charge of DC and do a completely new start. And just some other highlights. Gunn's, he said he's doing whatever he wants with DC, which is a good point. You want to be successful with the fans because the fans are the paying customers, not Gunny Poo. And you would want to be successful with the fans, but it's not happening as both Creature Commandos and Peacemaker fail to chart on Nielsen. They don't have big audience. And Superman also failed to respond to international fans. Its box office came under Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. So was there anything else? And so basically, yeah, Gunny Poo's doing whatever he wants with DC because his days are numbered. So yeah, it makes sense. Give your friends work. It's why he's fast-tracking Man of Tomorrow. But yeah, when the sale goes through, Gunny Poo is out. And then, we will get into this part later because this is a separate topic, but. And yeah, that's a good point. His Planet God and Monster saga is now the Superman family saga. So, anyway. So again, this is not confirmed, technically speaking. I do want to make this clear. This is one guy reporting something, but it's not officially true yet. So I do want to make that clear. I don't want to spread BS, even if it's what I like to hear. But if I had to guess, based on the fact that Creature Commandos and Superman or in Peacemaker did not do well, just like Superman, safe to say. I guess, CurlyRay, what's your thoughts?
Yo, it wouldn't surprise me that this happens because this really, because for one, you didn't listen to the fans, and two, the start of your brand new DC cinematic universe lost $42 million. And the thing is, too, is that the audiences are really confused with what direction you're going with. Are you just throwing things out and expect them to stick on the wall just so you can try to get this Marvel and DC crossover to happen? Because you probably won't be able to do it this way because your stuff's flopping. And my theory is that, the only reason if James Gunn would be able to keep his job is if somebody, whoever they get bought out would keep him in and continue to try to get him to make this happen because, and for my belief, I think Netflix is going to be the one picking up WBD, but, when it comes down to Paramount, we don't know who's there. I mean, we know who Walter Amada is there. I don't know if he would affect anything or not, but, there's people over there we don't even know if they're full-on friends with James Gunn or not. And these friends could end up trying to get this thing to happen for him. And with Netflix, I can tell you right now, if Netflix is the one that's going to buy them, he's out the door because he literally lost the company $42 million. Netflix, whenever Netflix sees something that isn't giving them engagement, they cancel it instantly. So if James Gunn stuff were to end up on Netflix, it wouldn't do well. The numbers would be low. Netflix would cancel it instantly, which is why I believe that James Gunn is going to be out the door once the sale happens.
Oh, yeah, and he knows it. He definitely knows it. Because again, this is what a guy, essentially a scooper is hearing, right? This is what the name of this guy is who wrote the article is Matt McCloy, right? I mean, so again, we don't know exactly what his sources are, but but the thing is, what we do know is that Superman did not do well. Creature Commandos did not do well. Peacemaker Season 2 did not do well. That's just the reality of the situation. And here's what we got to remember. Mikey Sutton said that David Zaslav, he bought Warner Brothers to flip it, right? He wanted to flip the company. That was his plan. He did not have long-term plans with Warner Brothers. This new company that buys it will have long-term plans for Warner Brothers. So they want successful DC. They want DC to be a success for their company. And Gunny Poo is not. Okay? He is not. He and Safran are not. I know I kind of put Safran on the title. I may change that after the stream. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I'm titled the stream, when I say this. But yeah, they're a package deal, right? If one goes, the other goes. I think Safran's contract is out sooner than James Gunn.
It may even be out right now.
Yeah, because I've heard that his contract expires sooner than James Gunn's. I don't know why, but it does. And what up, DC Talk?
What's up, DC Talk? Hey, what's up, W. Mayor? If I could say hi to you, man. And what's up, Dennis Medea?
I like what Dennis is saying, too, is that it's funny because, now the trades are turning on him.
They are, bro.
because they know here's the thing with the trades. A lot of these trades, they go whichever way the wind blows. So when James Gunn was starting out, they wanted to all side with him. But now when they see that, hey, this movie did not do well, and the company's being sold, now they don't want anything to do with James Gunn. They just want to be on the side of right. That's just how it works with this stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah, and I don't know how well it did on Netflix. Probably not as well as Zack Snyder's stuff. I bet that.
Yeah,
But,
probably. Yeah, I don't think it did well either. But I can't really say if it did or if it didn't because I don't have the full numbers with me right now. But if I did, I would pull it up and show them to y'all.
yeah, same here. I don't want to report anything that's not true just because it's what I want to hear, right? That's not how I do things. But yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me if this happens because ever since James Gunn came in, it's been nothing but trouble. His first major thing he does, let's be honest, his first actual thing he did was fire Henry Cavill. That was the first thing he did, right? He didn't do anything else. He was just kind of making some statements, still promoting Marvel, which, I'm not going to lie, I don't blame him for, because he had commitments and Zazoff knew that. If people didn't want a Marvel guy running DC, because he was a Marvel guy still at that time, that the blame falls on Zazoff, not James Gunn. I will say that. But still, the first major thing he did with DC was Superman, was firing Henry Cavill and calling the fandom fractious, saying, hey, we're not going to please everyone. Why? Why aren't you pleasing everyone? There's this thing called Elseworlds you could have done with Cavill. You could have put ZSJL2 on the slate as an Elseworld, and that would have been that. People would have supported everything, would have supported your stuff because you finished the Snyderverse. But you didn't do that. What up, DC Batman? I could see that happening too, honestly.
I think it probably will. Yeah, maybe that, or it just gets canned out instantly.
And oh yeah, you know what? You're right. Thank you, Jamar. Yeah, that's right. He also fired Patty Jenkins and canceled Wonder Woman 3. Yep, there's that too.
Yep.
So his first thing was getting rid of the legacy cast that fans wanted back. That was his first thing he did. Then he gave notes in Shazam 2, The Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman the Lost Kingdom, and Joker Folie à Deux.
And he also gave notes to a certain someone else we're going to get to later on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And oh, yeah, that's a good point, Dennis. But yeah, that's all he did. And then, those films they flopped. I think Aquaman Lost Kingdom did the highest of those 5, but still,
it did.
That's why, like The Flash, people keep saying, oh, Gunny Poo was so wrong when he said The Flash was the greatest DC film or greatest superhero film ever. The funny thing is, it could have been. I wouldn't be surprised if it was before Gunny Poo's notes came in, because he said he did this, guys. He said he did this. So this is not speculation. This is him flat out saying this.
Yep.
Because I remember people were saying, there was that one guy saying him on, I think it was Threads, who was like, these films have nothing to do with you. And Gunny Poo's like, I wish someone told me that before I started giving notes. So that happened. He gave notes on films that flopped. And now Creature Commandos did not do well. Superman did not do well. Peacemaker Season 2 did not do well.
And I even think some of those numbers are bought out.
Oh, I'm sure they are, but I don't want to get too far in. I wouldn't be surprised if the production budget and the marketing budget was higher too. But I don't, I try to stick with what's currently out there, not what's speculated. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I had to bet money, I would bet money that, yeah, absolutely. And that maybe some tickets were bought too by Warner Brothers or Gunny Poo himself. Who knows? But
oh, I know for sure he bought a ticket.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did. Oh, I'm sure he did. It's not confirmed, so I don't want to keep it as.
Yeah.
And yeah, in Peacemaker Season 2, it's like, this always irritated me. It's like he does this reboot, but he's keeping his own stuff from the DCEU. which creates this canon confusion about what's canon and what's not, to the point that he has to explain it outside of the projects. So, hold on a second. I see a bug on the wall. Keep talking for a little bit.
Yo, so Dennis, or to everyone, so I actually saw a meme where, I don't know which account posted this, but one of them said that Peacemaker season 2 looked like a commercial. And I don't blame them. It just looks really low quality, but you know, this is what happens when you deliver slops. You lose viewership and you lose money. And yo, I know,
Not a guitar.
and not only to mention, this show's not getting a third season. What does that tell you? That the show flopped.
Mm-hmm.
And that James Gunn is out the door completely.
Exactly. That's the thing. There's enough evidence out there aside from just this article, that Gunny Poo is out the door. Because, I mean, here's the thing. This is, and don't just look at this about Gunny Poo's track record. Let's just look at, history, right? Whenever an acquisition or a merger happens, the alpha, they always get new people, right? They clean house. That's how they work. It's very rare that everyone stays on board. Yeah, some people stay on board, sure. But the vast majority of people don't, because I think it was Dwayne Johnson who made this point, like when you buy a team, it's, not my coach, he made a quote like that, and that's basically how it is. When the new buyers buy WB, they want their people in charge, the people, because they have their vision they want to do. And despite what people said, I mean, James Gunn wasn't successful, but even still, they just want their people because they have their vision. That's how this stuff works. That's how any merger or acquisition works.
Yep.
And again, I don't think Gunny Poo's going to get fired, honestly. I think what's going to happen, I'm going to get clipped. I know I'm going to get clipped for this, clipped out of context. I just think they're going to not renew his contract. I think that 2026, when his contract is up, they're just not going to renew it. Simple as that. No firing. No, he just, as he likes to say, he won't get fired. He just won't get hired.
Yep. He won't get fired. He just won't get hired. And he just sits there and does toilet duty at Netflix.
If he's at Netflix, even.
Yeah,
We'll
that's true.
see.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see if he is.
I think James Gunn's biggest hope, I mean, because according to this guy who's reporting it, even if Paramount buys it, Gunny Poo's out the door. And if Universal buys it, you got Nolan, and we know that Nolan's going to back Zach. So James Gunn's biggest hope on staying on is if Disney buys Warner Brothers. To me, that's the only way I see James Gunn staying on, is if Disney buys Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because why would Christopher Nolan want to keep a person hired that thinks his films are bad?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, technically Christopher Nolan's not a executive at Universal, but let's be honest, or an executive, but let's be honest, Christopher Nolan has influence. So if he wants something, he's going to get it.
Yep.
But Disney is the only company I think James Gunn has any hope of staying with. And as I discussed with Zod Writer, if Disney actually gets Warner Brothers, someone on the FTC, on the Fair Trade Commission, got paid. Let's just be honest here. There's no way that merger or acquisition, whatever Sin Havoc, because I know if Sin Havoc watches this on replay, he's going to give me shit for mixing the two up. But anyways, you know that Disney is the only company that will keep James Gunn, because he has ties with Marvel. So, yeah, they fired him, but they rehired him very quickly, for being honest here, for tweets that he shouldn't have been rehired for. Yep. Hold on, people. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yep, but we will get there, because I talked about TheCurlyRay about this stream yesterday, and then obviously this news came out today about the whole Paramount thing, so that got added as a topic. So that happens sometimes, we plan a stream and then news happens, and sometimes it happens in the middle of the stream. Sometimes it happens right before the stream. That's actually happened to me before, where something happens fairly last minute and I have to do all this extra, research or to find the article, adjust the thumbnail, all that stuff to update it. So yeah.
Yeah, it all happens. Things happen during streams, even when you're watching cartoons and serial. Like something big happened, but we're going to get to that here in a minute.
Yeah, and don't worry, guys. That also what he's talking about, that's going to happen soon. And I forgot to do my mirror mode. I forgot to mirror my camera. Or no, my camera is mirrored. Okay, so. Oh wait, no, yeah, if my camera's mirrored, that's how it pointed. Okay, sorry guys. But yeah, so anyways, to wrap this part up, James Gunn, or as I like to call him, Gunny Poo, is out the door. And if he's out the door, Safran's out the door. Because Safran was the one who insisted on Gunny Poo, because people forget this. Zaslav wanted Safran. Safran wanted Gunny Poo with him.
Yep.
And let's be honest, Safran, he's budget or something. He's finance. Gunny Poo's the one who actually makes the creative decisions.
Yeah, and the creative decisions he's been making haven't been really creative, to be very honest.
Oh, no, they haven't. But also, too, you could also give Safran problems for his budget. He was the one who helped give Superman a high budget. Which, because again, a high budget can contribute to a movie's failure, because it means the movie has to make more money for it to be a failure. And yeah, don't worry again, we're getting there. But I think we've beaten this one to death. But point is, Gunny Poo is out, and Safran is also out. But you know who's not out? Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy. Contracts renewed. So for those of you who don't know, these guys, I think their title is, they are the chairs of Warner Brothers Pictures. Warner Brothers Motion Picture chairs. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy. Their contracts were renewed. And let me just share this. So they were re-upped. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy. Acknowledge box office hot streak. We're doing our part. So these are the Warner Brothers Motion Picture chairs. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy. And because they had success, which I want to get to that part down here, because they had a lot of success with Minecraft and Sinners. They've done well. They have done well in the box office. And I don't want to, again, we can read the whole article here. I just want to talk about the impact. So, and also why this is good for Snyder fans, because remember, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy, they're the ones who wanted Zack Snyder back. Because before DC Studios was formed, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy, they were running DC as well. They were running DC during that brief era where Warner Brothers Discovery has taken over, but there was no DC Studios formed yet, before Gunny Poo and Safran were in the picture. That's partly how we got Cavill back in Black Adam. And that's why we were getting reshoots for The Flash and Aquaman Lost Kingdom that Gunny Poo took out, because Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy wanted Zack Snyder at full circle. When Zack Snyder was showing all his 3 films, that big convention that showed all 3 of Zack Snyder's DC films, of the Snyderverse films, not Watchmen. But anyways, Zack Snyder, he did not thank James Gunn. He did not thank Peter Safran. He thanked Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy. Yep. So their contracts were renewed. So, TheCurlyRay, what's your thoughts on this?
Before I get straight to this, something else that Zack Snyder did say at the event is that he'd be willing to continue his universe at a third party when Sky asked him that question. So that's another thing that he said. So, anyway, to my response to this right here, Sinners made money. Minecraft made money, which Minecraft had a bunch of Minecraft fans going all crazy in the theater, throwing their popcorn buckets in the air, doing some Dragon Ball Z fighting and everything like that. The point I'm trying to bring out is that they made money. What about James Gunn and Peter Safran? Flop after flop after flop after flop. Pam Abdy, Mike DeLuca, they've been bringing the movies that have been making money. Like literally money. And it's crazy, bro. Like, I'm not surprised that Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy are keeping their jobs. It's simply because that they've made the company money. But somebody else's ain't getting their contract renewed. I wonder why. Because they literally made some flops.
Yes, that's exactly the point. These guys, their contract renewal was announced. James Gunn, his contract ends next year. In about pretty much a year from, I think, November, because he technically started in November. Why haven't we heard about an extension by now? These guys, they got extended. And you know what's really funny? Their contracts got renewed in the middle of a sale. Like, let's be honest, like this company's for sale right now. And they already renewed them. Why would you do that? The new buyers may not want them unless there's more going on behind the scenes than we know about. Maybe the new buyers are like, we want these guys. I mean, if you go by that article about James Gunn being out, I mean, they want Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy in charge of DC.
Yep.
And I have a theory. So I know Zodwriter had a theory that Zack Snyder will be head of DC Films, which I think that's one possibility. But another one, that if Zack Snyder is too busy with Rebel Moon, because I have a theory that, after ZSJL 2 and 3, he's done with DC for a while. He'll do his Rebel Moon, because Dark Knight Returns, mind you, works better with an older cast. I know he wants to do the Dark Knight Returns, but if he wants Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, that's one project where he's going to want to wait till they're a little bit older.
I want to make a response to that, because I could see Ben Affleck being in Rebel Moon at that point. I think after he does ZSJL 2 and 3, that he's probably going to do the Affleck movie, and then he'll be in Rebel Moon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And although I'm kind of hoping to get the Batfleck movie first, just because I think that's supposed to take place chronologically first. But again, we'll take what Netflix can give us. But anyways, if Zack Snyder, let's say, can't commit to being the head of DC Studios, we'll call it DC Studios. Netflix may rename it, but for now it's DC Studios. If Zack Snyder can't commit to it, I have a theory. Sin Havoc was saying in one of our chats recently, when we did that Rebel Moon Warner Brothers stream, he was saying that he thinks Warner Brothers will be a sub-studio. My theory is, if Warner Brothers is a sub-studio, I don't think you really need 2 chairs. But if Netflix wants to keep DC Studios, some form of DC Studios running, what if TheCurlyRay? What if Netflix is like, okay, you run Warner Brothers and you run DC Studios? One could run each.
Yeah, I could see, Zack Snyder run WB, and then Debbie Snyder run DC Studios.
Well, I'm thinking Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy, because I think Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder they have the Rebel Moon that they need to do after.
Oh, yes.
2 and 3.
My bad. I thought you were mentioning Zack Snyder run that. Yeah, I think Pam and Mike DeLuca should be the ones to run WB and DC Studios, and then Zack does more Rebel Moon, man, because I really love everything he's done with that universe, and I think we definitely need to see more of it soon. So yeah, it'll be very interesting.
But yeah, so that's why I think, though, too, that's why I'm thinking that there is a new buyer that's already happened. I think it's that's why I'm suspecting it happened behind the scenes, because I just don't see why they would renew contracts before a sale, because the new buyer might want their own people. But if, let's say, buyers are talking in Zazov's ear saying, we want these 2 guys, there's a good chance to say that these guys, they'll be safe when the acquisition. I'll say acquisition, so Sin Havoc doesn't go correcting me. When the acquisition happens, absolutely. I think these two guys are staying.
Yep, sure are.
And it's funny because Safran, I think there was supposedly trying to take their job. Safran was trying to upsue. I don't know what the word is with that. Upsure Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy's position as Warner Brother Pictures chair. Not looking too good now if that really was happening, because I know they were trying to blame Joker 2 on them, but it's like, but didn't James Gunn brag about giving notes on that film? So but you know what's kind of funny? Before Joker Folie à Deux came out, Mike DeLuca, James Gunn was like, oh, I gave notes. But after the film flopped, all of a sudden articles are coming out about how Todd Phillips was like, I'm not taking any notes from James Gunn. I'm only speaking to Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy. Funny that it happened after Joker Folie à Deux flopped. That's when all of a sudden it's Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy's film.
Yep, it is. Yeah, really weird. You know, James Gunn
What up,
definitely
Sin
gave
Havoc?
notes. And what's up, Sin Havoc? And it feels like they're just putting this all stuff out because they even try to push out the agenda of Pam and DeLuca are getting fired. They literally just help make Sinners and Minecraft and all these other movies make money.
Yeah. Yes. They had success. James Gunn and Peter Safran did not. And the new buyers, they're going to want that. And this is also good for Zack Snyder fans, because these were the guys, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy, these are the guys who are allied with Zack Snyder. That's why I've always kind of said that Snyder fans shouldn't boycott Warner Brothers Pictures, because these two guys are the ones you're hurting for boycotting Warner Brothers Pictures. Don't boycott aimlessly. Boycott strategically is what I will. So this is also good news for Zack Snyder fans, is that the new buyers want them. Because here's the big thing. They had a vision for DC. James Gunn had a vision for DC. David Zaslav didn't listen to Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy, but it turns out they were right.
Yep, they sure were.
So that's another thing to think about. So all this, the stars are aligning perfectly right now. James Gunn is out. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy are in. It's happening. And I think the new buyer, whoever it is, sees who's the success and who's the flop. So, Sin Havoc, I was just talking about a theory that, since you were saying that Warner Brothers Pictures will be a sub-studio under Netflix, that either Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy, only one will run Warner Brothers Pictures and only one will run DC Studios. That the new buyer will divide them up. Or Netflix, I'm theorizing Netflix. So let's be honest, we're rooting for Netflix. That Netflix will divide them up and put them each with one division. So,
yep.
But yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is great news. I'm glad that success was finally rewarded, because I think this is a sign that good things to come from Warner Brothers. That the day of failing upwards is coming to an end.
Yep. I think Netflix is really going to put it into the failing upwards. I believe they are.
Because Netflix, they want success, unlike other companies. And let me just clear out some articles real quick, because here's the thing too. All this talk about Paramount, what? Paramount, Skydance, they're going to buy Warner Brothers. They're the most likely buyer. It's these guys. Well, let's see. Warner Brothers Discovery rejects Paramount's initial bid takeover. And Chief David Ellison is reportedly seeking alternatives, including raising the offered share price from $20. So basically, okay, so Warner Brothers Discovery rejected because their price was too low. Paramount's initial price of $20 per share, made in recent weeks, was not attractive to WBD. Which, because their stock was just trading for over just $17. And hold on, let me just get rid of some of these pop-ups. And, okay. Well, this is as far as I can go. Unfortunately. Okay.
Oh, dang, yeah, I see.
But I think this kind of tells us what we need to know. And I may put another alternative article in the chat if you want to read the whole thing. Okay. Yeah, we know that doesn't happen. We know. But anyways, I guess TheCurlyRay, what's your thoughts on seeing this?
Yo, I really think the Paramount push, I think there's definitely a push going on for that. Because, they had one of the big guys, Eli Musk, try to, downplay Netflix recently, and that really did nothing. Nobody was really listening to him, and I think that, because I don't think Paramount has the money. Netflix does. Their stock is over $1,000 a share. They got the money. Paramount doesn't. And I just don't. I can definitely say they're trying hard to try to make this Paramount thing happen, but it's, wait till the spring. I think that's when Netflix is going to buy them out completely. Oh, you're muted.
We both did that. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, so I pulled a Variety article because just so that you could read the whole thing without a freaking paywall, because I'm so tired of these things. Especially if you're going to make me read ads, you better not put me behind a paywall, because no. Anyway, so yeah. Warner Brothers shares closed at $17.10 on Friday. And basically, Warner Brothers Discovery parent of HBO, Warner Brothers Entertainment, and now, so Paramount Skydance has been in talks with Apollo Global Management, the asset management firm that had previously bid for Paramount Global, about joining its bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. Larry Ellison, billionaire Oracle founder, who is David's father, fronted most of the money for Skydance's $8 billion deal for Paramount Global. But here's the thing. Here's my big thing with this, is that the fact is that Paramount has to put the money in. Like, Paramount has to do all this crazy stuff, take these loans out, work with these partners to get Warner Brothers. Netflix doesn't need to do that. They just have the money to just buy Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And W. Mears' question.
Yo, I think that, bro, I think they're going to try to, like, make that into a Snyderverse film. That's what I think is going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I have a theory, too, that it'll be kind of a similar situation with Matt Reeves and Ben Affleck's Batman film, where they just steal the title. I think absolutely. Now, it depends how far they get into filming, but I absolutely think that Man of Tomorrow could become a sequel title for Henry Cavill's second solo Superman film.
Yep.
Oh, what up, Socks?
What's up, Socks?
But I guess TheCurlyRay, what's your answer to W. Mears' question?
So, I could see, it's kind of like what, like I said, I think what could happen is that I think once Netflix, brings back the Snyderverse, I think that I could see that movie being turned into a Snyderverse movie, or if not, it could be a different title. If they do want to make a completely different movie, I think that Man of Tomorrow movie is going to get completely canned, 100%.
I think for me, it depends on when everything happens. Timing is very essential. If Netflix is able to get full control of Warner Brothers before or before the movie's filmed, I think absolutely that film is shelved. But if it's already filmed, that might be a little more tricky, but we'll see. We'll see. I think it's timing. But at the end of the day, people keep touting Paramount so much because, again, Hollywood likes Paramount a lot better than Netflix. And I don't think it's the camera sucks. I think it's just the lighting in my room. I think it's just the lighting in my room. And you are right. I do need to get another light in here. But yeah, so I'll look into getting another lamp at some point. But anyways, where was I? But yeah, I think right now, I think what's happening is, unfortunately, look, I know some people are a little upset with me because I was a little impatient on Skystream. Come on, Netflix, now. And I still stand by that because we've been fighting for 5 years, over 5 years. It's like we've been fighting for the Snyder Cut, then we've been fighting for sequels to ZSJL. And there's only so much energy I have to keep fighting, guys. Not gonna lie. But I am hoping that spring 2026 that we will get this. Because I think what is going to happen is they're going to wait till after the split happens. Because let's not forget that Warner Brothers Discovery is splitting. This is happening, right? Because until the sale actually happens, the split is still a thing. And I think Warner Brothers doesn't want the entire company. Or Netflix doesn't want the entire company. They want the Warner Brothers side. They don't want what's Discovery Global, because remember, the Warner Brothers side isn't going to have the debt. The Discovery Global side will have the debt. So, I assume you mean Paramount. Yes, and Havoc, I know. But dude, I've been fighting for so long. It's just exhausting after a while. It really is. But anyways, it does need to spring 2026. Please happen. In April, okay? Netflix, let's do this in April. Let's not do this in June. But I guess spring is because you also been saying second quarter, so we'll say April. April is the start of that possibility. But yeah, I think basically Netflix wants Warner Brothers without the debt, which is what we'll get with Warner Brothers. I know it's Discovery Global. I think they renamed those two companies. It's Warner Brothers something, right? What was the name of the split? It's Discovery Global and Warner Brothers. What was the other one again?
It's just Warner Brothers Pictures.
I feel like it was something else. I don't remember, but it's Warner Brothers something. And oh my god, are you referring to the Batman symbol socks? But anyway, so I guess what's your thoughts on that? Waiting till the split to happen.
I do think that is probably, once they get split, I think Netflix will definitely, because Netflix is making a deal with WBD Music right now, and that's very interesting considering that they probably already talking to WB right now and making deals to buy this out. And it's just going to be big, I think.
The best deal you're going to get from me, Sin Havoc, is I'm not going to be spamming it in chats anymore. But I'm not going to be internally patient. That's just not happening. And pyramid. Oh, okay. I was reading that as like a pyramid, OSHA Fresh. Okay. I see where you're going with that now.
Yeah, 100%, bro. They are.
Well, it is possible that there is a bug. I've had some bug problems in my place. But anyways. Paramount, though, I just don't see them getting this. Because, first of all, if they want the whole company, they have to pay a lot of money and then take on even more debt.
Yep, and I think their stock is barely higher than WBD's right now.
Yeah, and do the Ellisons really want to keep spending their own money just to get this? I mean, it's one thing to spend the company's money. Oh, okay. I thought you were serious because I actually do have a bug problem in my place. So, and
I hadn't watched that. I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch that because it heard a lot of. Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
trying to
that's.
say what's up.
Oh, finish your point, and then we'll get to what's in Havoc's saying.
No, I've heard that show is really, is a disgrace to the Halo franchise. So I don't know if I want to watch it, but you guys picked up what Necron said of WBD music. What did he say? Was it on the stream with Nar the Misfit?
Sky. Yeah, the Sky and yeah. Basically, like Netflix has a deal for like Warner Brothers Picture or Warner Brothers Music. Okay, this is Netflix, WB Music. So here, let me just, and I'll add this to my stream. But okay, yeah, because Larry Ellison's the father, right? But again, I don't know. So anyway, let's this. So Warner Brothers in talks with Netflix for artist-based films. Bloomerang
Bloomberg.
News reports. Bloomberg. Okay. Is nearing an agreement with Netflix to create a variety of movies and documentaries based on labels and artists and songs. So Warner Music Group, that is really interesting. So that's another sign too that something is already happening. But here's again, at the end of the day, Netflix can just buy the company, whereas Paramount has to take out these loans and work with these other companies. And here's the thing, that takes time, right? That takes time to get that approved. You have to get that stuff approved. You have to get it agreed upon. Whereas Netflix can, in the meantime, just be like, we're just going to buy it. You know what? You got approved for Paramount only got approved for this much. Okay, well, we're going to give you this much then.
Yep. And that much they pay for is going to look like pennies to Netflix.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And for those of you guys who don't know, Socks and I are really good friends. So Socks control me. And, oh, yeah, right. Larry Ellison just bought TikTok or a percent of TikTok, a platform I refuse to go on still.
Yeah, I don't blame you, bro.
But, yeah, at the end of the day, I think the fact that WBD rejects Paramount's bid is that they are low. Their bid is too low. That's just the reality. Zaslav wants money because here's the thing. This is essentially going to be like Zaslav's severance package because do you think the new buyers are going to keep Zaslav?
Nope.
Exactly. So Zaslav needs a lot of money for this to succeed. Or like he needs a lot of money for the severance package. Because he's going to get a lot of money from the sale. So he wants because like this is his personal finance now. This is no longer putting it on the company that he runs. This could creep into his personal finances. So he wants money that's going to be a good deal. So it's going to go to the highest bidder at the end of the day. And that highest bidder is going to be Netflix. If they want it, they're going to get it. Because yeah, I've heard that too. I know Aaron Fisher was saying that they might buy up the stock and do a hostile takeover. I mean, Netflix can do that too. Netflix can also do that. So
Yep, they sure can.
I mean, and here's the thing too. I mean, if let's say Netflix moves up the timetable, because here's the thing, even if Netflix only wants the Warner Brothers side, remember when Disney bought Fox, they didn't buy all of Fox, and there was no split that happened at the time. People forget that. They didn't buy all of Fox. They bought most of Fox. So, most of Fox. So, if let's say Paramount's trying to get the whole company and Netflix wants to swoop in, they could technically do that. They could technically buy the Warner Brothers part of it and just buy that part off Warner Brothers Discovery, basically. So, And again, I haven't been following that politics too much, but
Yeah.
unless it's Disney. I think if Disney, that's the one thing that would keep them, but
And that's probably never going to happen. So,
and that's a good
yeah,
point too.
yeah, that's the thing too. I think Netflix, because Crunchyroll, the anime app, originally had a Crunchyroll original section, but then when Sony bought them and merged it with Funimation, they got rid of the Crunchyroll original like branding thing. They just stick to Crunchyroll. So I think that's what they're probably going to do with. I think Netflix is going to do is say, "Hey, it's a Netflix movie or something like that. It's on Netflix exclusively." Is what I think is going to happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the end of the day, Paramount does not have the money. Paramount Skydance does not have the money without doing crazy rigmarole. Because I just don't know if the Ellisons want to spend their personal finance on this. Because again, spending personal finance is a lot different than spending company finance.
Yep.
And it's how desperate are you? You know, I mean, yeah, you could do the hostile takeover, but do you have to spend your personal finance to do it? Yeah, I don't know. So I think at the end of the day, this is just more sign that Netflix is going to get Warner Brothers, and Disney's trying to get Sony and then taken by Apple or vice versa. Yeah. I don't like the idea of like these three companies coming together. I'm fine with Apple buying Sony, I'm fine with Apple buying Disney, but I'm not fine with Apple buying Sony and Disney or any vice versa. I don't like that. I'm fine with Apple getting two of these companies becoming one, but not three of these companies becoming one. But I don't know. I guess CurlyRay, do you have any final thoughts on this right here?
All I could say is I think Netflix is going to be the one to buy them because they're the most compelling buyer.
Absolutely. And oh yeah, I think I do remember that. Well, I don't know, Sox. I don't think Mikey Sutton ever said that this company called Dice Not wanted to buy Sony. I don't think that was a scoop Mikey Sutton said. And exactly, that's the thing. That's basically the main point, is that Paramount needs lenders, Netflix does not. And Disney, okay, yeah, I figured, just giving you a hard time. And yeah, but we don't 100% know what that refers to, so I think it's definitely good what Kevin Smith said, but I don't necessarily think it confirms that for sure. Oh, I know, Sox, I know. But yeah, anyway, now let's move on to why I have the CurlyRay on here. Because Deathstroke supports SellZSJLToNetflix. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, we're going to share with you really soon.
What does this mean right here? Yeah, what does it mean?
So, this is on... Okay. Okay, hold on a second, guys. Hold on. It didn't actually show what I wanted it to show, so... So this is Joe Manganiello, the Deathstroke for the Batflick movie and ZSJL 2 and 3. And he was actually in Zack Snyder's Justice League as Deathstroke.
And
setting up the Batflick movie and the Nightmare timeline.
And he's already at Netflix right now.
Oh yeah. As right. I have no idea how to pronounce this. But so this was a story that he shared on Instagram right here. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get copyright stricken. But this is a post by... I'm muted.
Or no, you can mute the video right there on the bottom. Like at the speaker icon right there. Oh.
I don't know, though, if that's enough for Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. We can just keep it paused.
But you can see that that's Deathstroke. That right? And he shared this on Instagram, which that alone means something. But here's our very own TheCurlyRay saying, Joe Manganiello, our Deathstroke, posted this on his story. Sells the SJL to Netflix, sells Snyderverse to Netflix. And mind you, he's not even tagged. Joe Manganiello's not even tagged. And he reposted it.
He is mentioned. I did mention him in there.
Yeah, you mentioned him, but you didn't tag him.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
So, yeah, still, I just don't want to see. It doesn't mean I like that. But yeah, exactly. They support the Cell movement.
Yep, and he's down to do that not only ZSJL 3, but also the Batfleck movie.
Well, yeah, because the Batfleck movie is the one where he's a main character of. So, absolutely. And that's a good point, DC Talk. But first of all, just taking out the whole him reposting the Cell hashtags. I mean, we're going to go into that, but I think there's another part of this conversation that's important to know. He shared this story on Instagram. He just shared this story of his Deathstroke on Instagram. I guess, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I actually saw that he saw there was this user that does like these videos, these shorts on like their Instagram where they do these. I'll have to find the other account so I can show them to you. But Joe saw that Deathstroke video that the account posted and thought it looked really cool. So he posted on the story, and I saw they had Deathstroke on. I'm like, this looks very interesting. So I go post on Twitter saying, "Hey, look what he posted on his story." And this to me means that he wants to still do this movie. And because not only that, bro, like with him reposting the hashtags, like, because he's already at Netflix right now. He's going to be in One Piece season 2 as Crocodile. So, um, I'm definitely going to be there watching that when it comes out. And he's already there right now. And I can tell you, like, there's probably already phone calls that have been made that I think he's going to be coming back as Deathstroke very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that alone that he shared this on his Instagram means that he's still excited for the role, right? I mean, again, there's a reason why I wore this Batflick shirt for this stream, was he he's the bad guy of the Batflick movie. He is the bad guy of Ben Affleck's Batman movie that we're campaigning for. And he reposted that he is that he still has interest in the role as Deathstroke, because I just don't think you post that if you're not interested in coming back. To me, that just seems weird to me. But not just that, he reposted those Cell hashtags, and I love TheCurlyRay that you said that he works for Netflix, because remember when Zack Snyder signed Skywalker the Jedi Cell T-shirt, or no, his poster, and he wanted him to write Sell to Netflix, SellZSJL to Netflix, or Sell Snyderverse to Netflix, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't write the company, so he just wrote Snyderverse Sell It.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually that changed, and he retweeted the Netflix hashtags from Floyd's post. That not Deadshot, not the real Deadshot from the comics, but our friend who goes by Floyd Lawton, just to clarify for anyone who doesn't know. But anyways. But now Joe Manganiello, someone who works for Netflix. Because if you repost something like this and Netflix is not interested, that could get him in big trouble. That could potentially get him in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
But why is he posting this now? Why is he posting this now? Reposting this now? Like, he wasn't tagged. He wasn't asked a question. He went out of his way to repost that. And people will say, well, yeah, it's because it was the Deathstroke thing. It was the Deathstroke thing. It was, well, no. If you repost any post as an actor, especially as an actor, as any public figure, you are reposting the whole thing. So if TheCurlyRay wrote on here, like, put the Deathstroke video, and then instead of the Cell hashtag wrote, I like to punch babies. Do you think Joe Manganiello would have looked good for reposting that? Do you think you could have just said, oh, well, he just meant the video. He didn't mean that part. Would you use that excuse then?
Yeah, that's kind of like what happened when, Zack Snyder reposted the hashtag. They said, oh, this told me no, he was doing it to be nice. Like, yo, these people have contracts, there's certain things they can't post or like or make any reaction to because they've literally have contracts with these people. They just can't, repost things, and then they're not going to repost something just for them to get a call from Netflix saying, "Hey, we can't do this." Like there's probably contracts. So there's probably been negotiations already been made. I think there's something going on behind the scenes, and I think we're getting close to this thing happening.
Exactly. And to me, this is the final thing that tells me that this, for now at least, that this is definitely happening with Netflix. Because if Paramount was really the most likely buyer, why are you reposting Sell the Snyderverse to Netflix? Why aren't you? You should be supporting Sell Snyderverse to Paramount.
Yep.
And especially because he works for Net, and again, he works for Netflix. Like he could get, if Netflix is not interested, this could jeopardize his career. Netflix would be like, "What? Like, dude, you can't do this. You can't repost something like this." But he did.
Yep.
Something is, and again, it's not just this alone. This happened with Zack Snyder did this a while ago, and now Joe Manganiello, Ray Porter, when he was still on Twitter, he tweeted "Sell Snyderverse to Netflix." This stuff is slowly happening, little by little. The stars are aligning. That's the point. Does this alone mean that we're getting the Snyderverse on Netflix? No, but with all this other stuff, and yes, thank you, Wayne T. Carr.
Yep, he sure did.
This is an important piece of the puzzle, basically, is what I'm saying. Is that this is definitely crucial, but it's just a piece of the puzzle showing that this is happening. And that's essentially what the show is. This whole show is essentially pieces of the puzzle, because Superman failed and Gunny Poo's out. That seems to be happening. But who's not out are, I'm not going to do this on my middle finger, but Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy, they're in. And now Paramount, their offer is too small. Their offer is really small, but he got Deathstroke, the Deathstroke of the Snyderverse, now retweeting the Sell hashtags. Things are lining up the way they're meant to.
And Crocodile.
Exactly. He works for Netflix. Joe Manganiello is already on Netflix. Ben Affleck has a Netflix movie coming out in January with Matt Damon, and actually our Supergirl as well.
Yep. Indeed.
This is all, the puzzle is looking really well right now. We're getting the pieces of the puzzle is almost complete, guys. The puzzle is almost complete. And you got Wayne T. Carr, who retweeted this earlier. But again, the biggest thing to me with Joe Manganiello is that he went out of his way to do it. He wasn't asked a question, and he said yes to be polite. Like, people like ran with Zack Snyder saying, would you do the Snyderverse in animation? Well, Zack Snyder's not going to say no to that. He may not want to do it, but it's just going to, what do you expect him to say? Or when people ask actors like James Gunn's Suicide Squad cast if they want to see the Ayer cut, well, they're not going to say no. That's just going to make them look like assholes. But here, Joe Manganiello went out of his way to show support for that. So I guess I've been talking a lot. TheCurlyRay, anything else you want to say?
Yo, like, it's kind of like you said, man, there's definitely something going on behind the scenes. And I believe that we're definitely, I think this is definitely, coming. It's going to happen. And my reaction to that, I'll give you guys my reaction to it. So I was watching the stream that Sky did yesterday with cartoons and cereal. Now I'm just on my phone. I get a notification seeing that Joe literally liked my post. I was like, oh, he liked it. And while I was going through Twitter, he retweeted. I was like, oh, this is big. I got to tell everyone. So yeah, it's, to me, honestly, I'm not like saying stuff to be like, oh, he reposted my post, guys. Look, the reason I got excited for this because this means something. This means that we're probably about to get ZSL 2 and 3 in the Batfleck movie.
Exactly. And and I'm really happy. It's nice that you got that acknowledgement, but it is also good for the community. And I thank you for posting that, because that helped us get that piece of the puzzle that was needed.
Yep.
And essentially that's all this stuff is. Everything that I've discussed on this channel, that Sky and the Cool Table they discuss on their streams. A lot of the stuff are pieces of the puzzle that's coming together to form the Snyderverse on Netflix. The stars are lining up perfectly. The puzzles are coming together. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. So shout out to you, TheCurlyRay, for getting that reposted. And it was really important to see that because it's another Snyderverse actor in support of what we're doing. So if you say we're on the wrong path now, I'm just saying, I don't think we are, guys. I don't think we are. But anyways, at the end of the day, this is good. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy are in. Gunny Poo is out. And now we got this. We got Joe Manganiello retweeting Cell. So things are lining up the way they are supposed to. I guess TheCurlyRay, any final thoughts? And what do you have coming up on your channel on either on Rebel Moon Theory specifically?
So I really think that it's like I said, man, I think Netflix is about to pick them up, and kind of like what think DC Talk was talking about. I do believe there's going to be a point to where I think some of the other cast is going to tweet these things out, and that they're going to give us the other pieces of the puzzle. I think Ben Affleck will do it. I think Gal Gadot's going to do it. I think Henry Cavill's going to do it.
He doesn't have Twitter.
Or he might do it on Instagram. But I do think that there is going to come a point to where I think when that happens, I think it's safe to say, hey, I think we've won. Now, when it comes to Rebel Moon Theory, I am currently working on a video that's going to cover the Nemesis comic because I do need to cover it on my channel, but it is going to take some little bit of time. And then on October 31st, I got a little drop to show y'all. It's going to be on Twitter, and I'm also going to, post it on Instagram and everything like that. So y'all be on the lookout for that. And can't wait to see what else happens, and can't wait to show you guys what I got planned out.
Yeah, Sin Havoc, you're not gonna get internal patience from me. Again, I'm not gonna spam the chats anymore, but I'm not patient internally. That's just not gonna happen. No. Been fighting for so long. But anyways, go and get. Thank you again for coming on, TheCurlyRay, and I'm really excited to see what's coming up with Rebel Moon Theory. Because again, you bring an important part of the Snyder fandom, an important aspect of the Snyder fandom, the one that really focuses on Rebel Moon. Because again, we get this talk that we don't care about Rebel Moon, even though we just did a whole stream about how the acquisition of Warner Brothers could affect Rebel Moon.
Yep.
And I literally said on this channel that after ZSJL 2 and 3, I'm fine, Rebel Moon. After that, I want to see Zack Snyder do Rebel Moon. So anyways, I really appreciate you coming on this channel to discuss with me. This was a really great conversation. And yeah, I think there's so much. This was really great. And shout out to you for, again, getting that post. Or that post retweeted. Or reposted, because I'm sorry, it's not called a tweet anymore. But Cell is the only way. And thank you, Socks. And no thank you, Socks. So, and then coming up on this stream is, again, I'm going to be covering the the sale of Warner Brothers still. That's going to keep happening because, quite frankly, it's nice to have exciting news of DC to talk about because I just haven't had that. We just haven't had that. But now we really have a lot of good stuff to talk about now. So expect that on this channel. And guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great discussions such as these. And on that note, any final words, TheCurlyRay?
SellZSJLToNetflix and sell Snyderverse to Netflix. That's all I'll say.
Have a fantastic day.